Thank you. All right. I hope you all have ID. What's going on tonight?
Crazy.
Okay, I'm Johnny Carson. You can find me in the Yellow Pages under Husbands Are Us. Boy, do you make up for last night. Oh. We were all about ready to retire from this show. Real trouble. I got a call today from an evangelist in the Valley who claimed he played last night's monologue backwards and detected a joke. Well. Hey. Easy.
Makes me want to move.
Well, you're going to move later. Doc's going to do something special. Doc is going to, actually tonight, is going to cook on this show. He's a good cook. I tuned in about 6 months ago, and I saw Regis Philbin from New York, and I see Doc out there cooking up some Italian food. And I didn't know you were a gourmet cook.
But of course.
So you're going to make something tonight? What are you going to make for us tonight?
I'm going to make spaghetti with matriciana sauce.
Is that good?
Certainly it's
All righty. You know, the gliding gourmet? Anyway, I know a lot of you are visiting from out of town. We welcome you to Los Angeles. I think there are a couple of things you should know when you're in California. For example, basically this is true. In your hometown, if a car is going about 5 miles an hour and hits another car, it's what they call a fender bender, right? Out here it's called a stoplight. So, know that. How many of you felt the earthquake last night? We had. They had a small jolt in the Beverly Hills area about 10:30 last night. Did not cause a great deal of damage, but it did set off all the alarms in the Mercedes in Beverly Hills. You know, I think I'm the only man left at NBC here in California working with gray hair.
Yep.
Did you notice yesterday, the local guy here, all the news people have left here. 4 people in the last year have left for gray hair. Isn't it nice to know that Mike Wallace will always have a job? Joan Emery's on the show tonight from San Diego Zoo, and we had a little incident backstage. One of her chimps got loose, escaped in the studio, and before we could catch him, he wandered into Studio 4 and won 3 rounds on Wheel of Fortune. That's a hot show, isn't it? Anyway, I welcome you to the Valley. We're in the San Fernando Valley in Burbank, not a cultural mecca. What do you expect from a place that has 1 library and 2,000 stores that sell bar stools? Did you see this issue of TV Guide? You know who's on the cover of TV Guide? Ronnie and Nancy Reagan are on the cover of Television Guide. Saw a woman in the grocery store, looking at the cover and said, "Boy, the Colbys got old." Now, let me tell you why they were on the cover. The president wrote an article. Himself, I guess. Yeah. What? I assume he wrote it. It said... No, I don't mean... No, I didn't mean to imply that the president is not intelligent. I mean, it was under his byline. It says, what the 4th of July means to Nancy and me. Now, the president, of course, can really appreciate Independence Day because he can remember when there weren't any. Speaking of the presidency, guess who announced he's going to run in 1988? Alexander Haig. Yeah. Now, he's only running because he found out that the presidential election is really a formality you have to go through to be in charge. I'm not too confident about Haig's campaign slogan. Vote for me, the sane alternative to Lyndon LaRouche. You know who's the Democratic choice? Gary Hart is the Democratic frontrunner. Yeah, Gary. Gary's also got a brilliant slogan for 1988. It is, all right, you didn't like those new ideas? I got other new ideas. Here's the weird news item of the day. According to the Wall Street Journal, sharks Sharks are chewing at AT&T underwater telephone cables. Normally, sharks leave the phone company alone. It's a professional courtesy. Anyway, in addition to Doc's cooking tonight, Joan Embry from the San Diego Zoo, we have a very, very fine actor, Danny DeVito, is with us tonight. And a gentleman by the name of John Searing, who is just a fan of The Tonight Show, and you'll meet Mr. Searing and find out what he has always wanted to do. So stay where you are, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Whoopee. Okay, we're back. Here we are. Don't overdo it. We'll have to be good. We almost lost you tonight.
Yeah.
You won't believe what happened. About a month ago, you went to Hawaii with your wife, Victoria.
Right.
You weren't there one day. She got stung by a bee.
Right.
Had a rather severe allergic reaction. Was in bed for a few days,
Yeah.
right? What happened to you last night?
Well, it's this morning. Right
this
about
morning.
noontime, I was in my bedroom, inside with the screens and everything. And a
You
bee
keep the
bit
screens
me.
inside?
Well, I mean, a bee got in somehow and bit me, that dirty
And you had a bad reaction?
reaction. I got sick to my stomach and fainted, and almost fainted.
That's
What's the likelihood of that happening to the same family, two people within the 3-week period, each get stung by a bee?
I think you're in the Guinness Book of
If it
Records.
was the same bee.
No, that can be dangerous. Incidentally, the bee is on terminal life support system. at Cedars Sinai, the bee went into alcoholic shock. They're sitting there going, to all the people.
This is fun.
You taught that bee a lesson. Anyway, I'm glad you're up and around.
Thank
All
you.
right, Danny DeVito is here. Joan Embry. Doc is going to cook for us later on some Italian
Great.
food. He's good, you know.
He's a good cook.
And we can heckle him and do all that stuff. Now, this next gentleman, his name is John Searing. I have not met him, but he is a fan of The Tonight Show. Like most shows, we get a lot of mail, but we get a lot of mail from this man. Do we have? These, believe it or not, are some of the letters we have received. These are
Drawings? Look at them.
well, these are Xerox copies that he sends. They have been coming, I guess, for about the better part of the past year. And in all the letters that he has sent us, he had one request. He'll have to explain that. He is from West Caldwell, New Jersey. Would you welcome John Searing? How you doing, John?
Fine, I can't believe it.
Well, you're here. Now you did write, how many letters altogether did you write The Tonight Show?
I guess in the course of the last 7 or 8 months, there was about 800.
Now, the postage alone gets a little severe, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Your tongue runs a little dry licking the stamps.
Uh-huh. Now, you started sending us letter about once a week for a while.
Yes, it was back in, I guess it was in November last year. I started writing one letter a week, and they started getting a little bit too long, and I wanted to get the attention of someone at the show. So I figured I'd start writing them every day, including the weekends.
Did you ever get an answer? Did you get a form letter or something?
I got a reply, a standard form reply, back in late January.
All right. Now, all of the letters you wrote had the same request. Why don't you tell people what it is?
I wanted to come on the show and just say that here's Johnny.
All right.
You wanted, in other words, you've been listening to Ed's do this for how many years?
I started, let me just compose myself
That's
for a
all right
minute.
now. That's okay. You're finally here after all
Yes,
this time. You
I
see,
don't believe it yet.
It paid off.
I started watching the show in 1964 when I was 14. And my parents would be watching it downstairs. We were in a row home in Philadelphia, and I would be lying on the floor looking down the steps,
Right.
seeing you doing all your
Whatever it is I do.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
At the time, that didn't come out the way I meant.
That's all right.
And so I got interested in magic through hearing you talk about it with
Yeah.
Carsoni.
Right.
And I would tape record the opening introduction and get in front of a mirror and just pretend I was doing it. I got really wrapped up in the show.
It became an obsession.
More or less, yes.
Now, you're married.
Yes.
What is your wife and you had children?
3.
Well, we've got some pictures also, I understand.
Oh, boy.
Were these taken at home?
Yes.
You sent some of these along also, didn't you? Showing you
Well, yes,
what
sir.
you were going through. Here was the family sitting around the table with your children. I guess, what, licking envelopes? And
No, there was a table full of Alpo dog food at the time.
Oh, I see.
They weren't actually eating
They weren't
it.
eating it,
no.
but you...
But it was anything to get the attention here.
Here's one. Here's this. Dear John, please let me say it. You had a very aggressive campaign here. Besides that, John. Now here's one. You look like a mummy or something. You're in. Says I'll unwrap my daughter.
Oh, wait. My 2 daughters were wrapping themselves up in toilet paper when I came home from work.
They were wrapping
I don't know
themselves
why.
up in toilet paper?
I don't know why. I don't know why they were doing it. And I saw the one, and I said, wait a minute, don't take her apart. I got an idea. I want to take her picture. And I guess it was a little bizarre, but
You got me intrigued now.
well, I was threatening, not threatening, but politely saying that if someone didn't get a hold of me, I was going to flush her down the Hudson.
All right, now here's one. You're getting desperate, obviously,
Yes.
here. In other words, if you don't get to do this, that's the way you were going to end it all, I guess.
I think your letter came after that saying no.
Oh, okay. Now you're really going all out. A close-up of the suit with my label in it, right?
Yes?
Show that you mean business. Now look at this. I don't know where this building is. That's what's on the building. Karnak. Character we do.
I started working for a new company back in October.
How did your wife take all this? I mean, this obsession.
Well, she thought I was loony to begin with anyway.
Right.
And this, really didn't do anything to help it, but she was really not very supportive of the things that I did.
I see.
And we eventually divorced. It was not because of the show. She was not supportive of just about anything I wanted to do.
Certainly not the letter writing campaign. Huh? Here's one. Is your cat is sitting up here, threatening suicide to get in the? You're going to put your cat in the
Yes.
in the spin cycle or something?
Yeah,
Oh, I won't even show that. All those. Then you even had my picture. And it says, "Please let me say, here's Johnny." Right?
yes, you had. I had undergone a couple back operations back in 1980.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote to you just, telling you that I was a fan, and I asked you for a picture while I was recovering, and that was the,
I sent it out
the
to you.
photo I got.
Well, here you are, and we're ready to do it.
Let me just say one thing, that
Sure.
I did remarry almost 2 years ago. My wife's name is Claire,
Uh-huh.
and we have the children living with us, and she's very supportive, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her help.
Good. Okay, glad to hear it. Now, this is what we call the opening billboard of the show that Ed uses every night. And the way it works, I'll go backstage just like I'm going to come out and do a monologue. You can go over to Ed's microphone there, and our floor manager, Kevin, will throw you 2 cues.
This is really happening, isn't
This is really going to happen. You want to just take a quick look at this before you go over there? Just don't read it out loud, but just so you don't have to do it completely cold. So you'll have a cue for this, and then you'll get a second cue when you say, here's Johnny. So you'll do the billboard of the guests, and then get a second cue, and then... Okay?
Go for it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So, John, why don't you go out to Ed's mic there? I will go back stage, and like the opening of the show, and John Searing from West Caldwell, New Jersey, will be our announcer. Okay? Kevin will cue you. I'll be out in a second.
NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Johnny and his guests, Danny DeVito, from the San Diego Zoo, Joan Everett, letter writer John Searing, and Adventures in the Kitchen with Doc. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny!
Now. Okay, that was pretty good. Very good. You did that. I think Ed would even agree. You did that very professionally.
Thank you.
You're a good-looking gentleman.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Congratulations. Your fantasy. Now go and write no more.
No problem. Thank you, Al. We'll be right back.
We are back. Okay. I might point out that although this gentleman wrote a lot of letters, I wouldn't suggest you start writing hundreds of letters and saying, I'd like to replace Ed, or I'd like your job, or something. We may not fulfill all of those. Yeah. My next guest, you all know, he's a very bright, funny, and talented actor. I guess who came really to everybody's attention in Taxi. He's also been in movies like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jewel of the Nile, Wise Guys. His latest movie is called Ruthless People. Opens tomorrow. Danny DeVito. Hey, big deal.
Hey, well, look, I mean, long time coming here, you know.
Hey, how are you?
Great, great.
I don't think we've ever met, otherwise than saying maybe a hello across a room or something.
I was in a dressing room or a makeup chair once. You popped your head in.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, nice to see you.
Hey, good to see you. Hey, I'm a big fan of yours. I really am.
Good, yeah.
You know, Taxi, of course, is still playing all over the country. And it's like one of those shows that holds up. It's like watching the Lucy reruns or they hold up. They're still funny.
Oh, it was a great experience.
Funny, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was like 5 of the best years of my life.
Great ensemble.
Yeah,
acting in
terrific.
there. Yeah.
Great people.
You know, I saw something that you did a couple of years ago that two friends of mine who write for this show, Mike Berry and Jim Mulholland, wrote a thing called The Ratings Game, which was on, I guess, HBO.
Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime. It was about what happens inside of television and how the ratings can be rigged. Gee, that was funny.
Outrageous.
Funny.
Yeah.
With your wife,
Rhea.
Rhea Perlman.
Yeah, Rhea Perlman.
Yeah, you're from Jersey.
Asbury Park.
Asbury Park.
Asbury Park.
What was your first, what you call, I guess, big break? You grew up, your dad...
My father was kind of like an entrepreneur. He had a pool hall at one time, and the Crown Billiard Academy, and then he had a little place that he sold dairy products. He had a big sign out in front that said, "From our farm to you."
Fresh
we
farm
didn't
fresh.
have a farm, but he was like, it was that kind of thing.
Anything farm fresh.
Yeah. Well, in Asbury Park, there were a lot of things going on, a lot of things to do. I was a gardener when I was there.
You're kidding.
No, I cut grass in the summer, and then after high school, I did other things. But, I became a hairdresser. A lot of people don't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
But I worked for my sister. She had a beauty parlor.
Did you go to one of the beauty school to learn this?
Wilfred Academy, it was called.
Oh, yes, of course.
You have that?
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah,
yes.
and, it was after high school. I didn't know.
Wilfred Academy of Hairdressing, right?
That's it. Yeah, you got your little case with
Now,
all the little things in it,
Now, tell me this. Coming from Jersey, the macho image you got
Tough
from
guys,
Jersey, and
yeah.
somebody says, hey, I'm going to go to the Wilfred School of Beauty. How did you go up and tell your friends, hey, guys, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Wilfred School.
I'm going to the Wilfred School of Beauty. What do you want me to do? Hang around the pool all day? I'm going to go and learn a trade. Yeah.
Something you could depend on.
But I got very good at it.
Really?
Well, my sister, she had the beauty parlor, Angela, and I was Mr. Dan,
It's always the first name. Is Mr. Dan?
That's right, Mr. Dan, Mr. Daniel, Mr. whatever, AU, and I got to, my specialty was like, this was early 60s. It's like, 61, 62 around. And,
I don't even know it was big then.
and my specialty was the beehive. Well, people do the beehive. They just, a lot of people never wanted it to come out. That was the thing. You put it in, and people would stay for like weeks with this beehive.
What's the secret to a good beehive?
Mr.
Dan.
I was well known. It was like, we actually tested it once. We was on the cover of this magazine down the shore. They had this thing called the Starlight magazine. It was Spotlight magazine. It was, all the things were going down on the shore in the summer. And they took this woman that I had done a beehive. We brought her down to the jetty down at the shore, and we stuck her out a 25-knot wind. To see if it would hold up.
Did it hold up?
It held up, but
Hey,
it was
what
great.
an ad, what an ad. Hey, you want to stand on the shore with a 25-knot wind? Come see Mr. Dan. I mean, that just means we're coming right back. Stay where you are. Miss... There. We have finally returned. We're talking to former hairdresser to New Jersey's finest, Danny. If you really were a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was hot stuff.
So when you met your wife, Leah?
Yeah.
What's the first thing you did together? What's the first thing you auditioned for to get into the theater or whatever?
Well, Rhea and I we've been together for 15 years, and we worked, off Broadway.
Right.
Off Broadway, off. The first thing we ever did professionally was a play called Vinyl Visits an FM Station. It was kind of like a very avant-garde play. I played Scum, and Rhea played Cutter. And it was an S&M station in Hanoi or something. I don't know. It was Mary Warnoff was in it. It was a very, very interesting play. It was at the Theater for the Lost Continent. It was, on the west, where the West Side Highway is?
Sure.
West Street.
That's
in
just off
Jane.
Broadway.
Just way down, just above Broadway, yeah, right. It was right down, it's the bowels of Manhattan. It was adjacent to, the theater was adjacent to a flop house. It was 50 cents a bed, and a lot of guys, the balcony, if you walked through the lobby of the theater, of the flop house, a door opened up into the balcony of the theater. That was it. So during rehearsals, the guys would come out, drink some wine, watch us rehearse, comment.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
You're talking show business here.
This is show business. Previews, during the previews, a guy guy walked through the thing. The show was like, we had half a house. He didn't like the show. He relieved himself off the balcony. I swear to God. It was a terrible
That's a
thing.
bad critic. Bad critic.
It was a better review for the show, though, I think. It was one of the better.
Somebody said you used to do what they call street theater. Is that what the kids are doing in San Francisco?
Well, we
stuff?
didn't call it street theater at the time, and we didn't know. We was just horsing around. It was like guys just, doing anything. My father had a pool hall on Asbury Avenue, and next to the pool hall was a Carvel soft ice cream thing, and it was this summer, and we were all in there. We wanted to get a rise out of the people, so we had a starter pistol. It was a terrible thing, but we had a fight in the pool hall, mock fight. 4 or 5 guys yelling, throwing bottles, and we came out into the street. Russell shot Louis. He fell into the street. Sal came around the corner, his father's black Buick. We threw him in the trunk. We drove off. The people at the Carvel are like, just hanging, dripping ice cream over their shoes.
Great training ground, yeah.
It was a terrible prank.
You still keep in touch with some of these guys?
Oh, yeah, the guys from Jersey, all my friends, sometimes they show up at the, they come to Ruthless People, we have a little premiere.
Yeah.
They come to the thing, Jewel of the Nile, they came to see it. And theater is a tough place to have the guys come because they holler at you, and say, hey, Dan, how's it going? It's like...
Hey, remember Carvel's? Hey! That's funny. Now, in Ruthless People, we're going to show, we have a film clip, and it probably needs a little explanation of what we're going to see.
Well, the story is basically a man named Sam Stone who has been married to Bette Midler. I've been married to Bette Midler 15 years. I can't stand, it's just horrible. And now I'm going to kill her, and this sets it up, See the clip.
I think I'm going to like this.
What's the rest of that money? His money, her money. It's my money. I had to live with that squealing, corpulent little toad all these years. God, I hate that woman. I hate the way she lick stamps. I hate her furniture. And I hate that little sound she makes when she sleeps.
Aren't you scared?
Scared? Hell no. I'm looking forward to it. My only regret, Carol, is that the plan isn't more violent.
Don't you consider throwing a body off a cliff in the dead of night violent?
No, she'll be unconscious, knocked out from the chloroform. I'm talking about hands-on involvement.
And on.
I'm going now. I can't wait.
Good luck.
There's a disturbed husband. You're talking. Who's the gal in the scene?
The woman in the clip there plays my mistress, Anita Morris, and she's hot.
Yeah, she's been on the show a number of times.
Yeah.
That's a disturbed husband in that picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been married now how long?
We've been married 4 years. We lived together for 11 before we got married, and you know.
That's a long
That was like
engagement.
Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, but it was good. And then we have 2 children now, Lucy and Gracie.
There's
Hi,
always-
Lucy. Hi, Gracie.
Yeah. There's always that cliche about people who are in the business. It's difficult because of the scheduling and so forth.
Yeah.
But you work together.
We try to
professionally,
work
too.
it out, you know, as best we can. Like, you know, in terms of the schedules, and whenever I'm on location, if Rhea's not doing Cheers, then, you know, she brings the kids and
Yeah, that's great.
we hang out.
When you did Jewel and I, you went to spend some time in Morocco.
Oh, yeah.
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 And you sat around there. Somebody told me, what's the joke? You
Oh.
told somebody?
Well, it's like, well, you see.
Not
I
a
work-
lot of comics work Morocco.
No,
generally.
I worked. Well, actually, I came from Wise Guys, and I was 2 months every morning in the makeup trailer. Lou Albano would tell this joke. Guy goes in a psychiatrist's office. He says to the doctor, "Doc, all night I'm dreaming about wigwams and teepees." Right? And the doctor says to him, "I know your problem. You're too tense." Okay, so for 2 months.
Okay.
2 months.
I
I'm
deserved
hearing-
it. I understand.
I'm
Okay.
hearing this joke. So now I'm like, you know, it's in my head. I can't. Every place I go, I'm telling this joke. 2 weeks after we finished Wise Guys, the whole family were on a plane to Morocco. First, I see Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner for lunch, and they greet us at the hotel. First thing I do, I'm a basket case. 8 hours on a plane with 2 babies. Hey, Mike, did you hear the joke about the guy who goes in the psychiatrist's office? I'm telling everybody this joke, and everybody's going, "Oh, you know, this guy's going to be in the movie, you know, and this, that, and the other." So we get to Ouarzazate, which is in the Sahara Desert. The governor of Ouarzazate and 9 people, his entourage, come in to sit with us for tea one evening. You know, they wear the long robes and, you know, just their legs out and little tiny shoes, no socks, right? Fezzes on their heads and towels and things. And they don't speak English. They speak Arabic and French. I speak Jersey. I don't speak Arabic, French, whatever. Now, Michael and Kathleen, you know, they get along with French a little. Michael Douglas, he's talking French. The guys, I'm sitting there like, So they had a translator. So in the middle of there was a little lull in the conversation.
Don't tell me.
I said to the translator, ask the governor if he heard this joke. Right? I tell him the joke. The guy's going, the guy walks in the psychiatrist. Gets to the wigwams and teepees. 2 tenths. Long punchline. I said, guy goes, "Whoa!" His feet go up in the air. I see up his dress. It was like, it was outrageous, man. The guy goes nuts. I'm telling you.
You either had a great translator or they're starved for humor over there.
Absolutely.
2 cents, huh?
I think you're right.
Got the governor. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Doc is going to cook. Yes, it's that time. In our ever-increasing desire to bring you the best in entertainment in a wide variety, Doc Severinsen tonight is going to cook because I saw him cook on a show in New York, so let's go into Doc's kitchen.
Well, here we are
the kitchen again.
Now, I've been to your house before, and, you know, you did cook,
That's right.
but you've never done it publicly.
You've never said
Why do
how
I-
I cooked, though.
Well, we're going to find out. Now,
What do you
I-
mean find out? What was that? The chopped liver we gave you
No,
there?
it's pretty good, but I
That
want
was
to see
good
how you
stuff.
prepare this.
Okay.
You could have smuggled some stuff in that night.
Oh, now, wait a minute. You're going to help. So you get over here. You got to do some things. We're going to make spaghetti
Well, here we are.
with
in
an
the kitchen.
amatriciana sauce.
What?
Amatriciana sauce. That means made out of old mattresses. Anyway,
We're in
we put
Doc's comedy kitchen.
No. This is for real. Here,
Okay,
we gotta
now you-
get the spaghetti going in there. Now, what I'd like you to do is to open that can of tomatoes and put them in that bowl over there, and then squish them up with your hands. Ooh, this fire's a little bit hot here. Well, let's see. We're going to start out over here with a little bit of
You
Italian.
feel like you're in the very early days of television here? I put them in here first, just pour them in.
Pour them right in, and then reach in with your hands and squish them up. Gives it that star flavor, don't you know?
Man knows how to cook, okay.
And while you're doing that, oh, you're not through yet.
I can't stand
I
around
mean,
like
you've got to squish them up just a little bit more, and then just wipe your hands off on your apron. Then I want you to chop up this onion right here. Okay, and over here we have
What
the.
do I need you for? I'm doing all the work.
No, I'm cooking over here, man.
I just wipe it on the...
Yeah.
Nice and neat. What do I use to chop this?
A knife is usually a pretty good thing. You got something better?
All right, just like that?
Just a minute. When you chop onions, they generally make your eyes tear up, and if you put a part of a loaf of bread in your mouth, it'll stop you from tearing up. So put that in your mouth while you're chopping.
What the hell are you talking about? Are you sure?
Well, of course I'm
Is that
sure.
true?
Have I ever lied to you? Now, I want to talk to you about that band number we've been talking about.
How much do I chop it?
Oh, you have to chop it up quite fine. Actually, I have some over here that we've already got going.
What did you put in there first?
I put in onions, so now I have Italian bacon and
Italian
onions
bacon
in
and
here. The fire is very hot.
When do you
I
want
hope
the
I don't lose
tomatoes?
control. Well, you could just hold them a minute.
All right.
And now I put a little bit of garlic in there, like this. It's coming together. Oh, yeah, good Italian cooking always has some wine. Take a shot.
Fine wines of Wyoming. That's fine.
Okay, now you know what I want to do with this wine?
Yeah.
I want to drink
I
some
know, but-
so much.
All right, now.
No, when you cook under a very hot flame like this, you get a little burning on the bottom. You put a little wine in there like that. See, that picks up that stuff off the bottom of the pan.
All right, sir. Very good. All right.
And also gives a nice flavor to it. We cooked the wine all the way off, or I wouldn't be doing it. I forgot to put in a little bit of olive oil. Here.
Olive oil. All right.
Yo, Mama likes olive oil.
Julia Childs doesn't do this kind of dialogue.
That's exactly the way she... Okay, so we've got our base going here now. We're going to put the tomatoes in there.
My tomatoes.
There you go. They definitely... Anybody eats this sauce, they're going to start doing a monologue right away. And
This is just the sauce now.
yes, we just... You see, I've got the spaghetti going
It
over
smells
here.
great.
And it's coming along pretty good. It's I'm missing my most important thing. Wouldn't you know I left my spaghetti catcher at home?
Oh, your colander, you mean?
No, I mean the big fork that you use to move it around with.
Oh, I see.
But anyway, we have to put now a little bit of basil leaf in here.
Right. What does that do?
It gives it a terrific flavor, sweetens it, you
Okay.
know. And so we put some of that in there like that.
Do you do most of the cooking at home, or does Emily do this?
Who? No, I actually do a lot of the cooking, but we like to cook together because anytime a man and a woman can cook together, they can stay married.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ruth.
Now, I'm going to reveal a hitherto unknown secret.
Right?
This is the secret ingredient of many things good, and it's called stock. You put a little of that in there, quite a little bit like
Right.
that, and this is made...
Like chicken stock or?
No, this is veal stock.
Okay.
And it's made by boiling up a calf. And
Which was done earlier today.
you should always keep your vegetables and your old pieces of meat around the house and cook them together. And you keep cooking it down and down and down, and it comes out like this, and it's sort of a gelatin, a paste like that, and it helps your cooking terrifically. Oh, I like this. Anyway,
Now, you let that cook for a while.
the ordinary time that I would take to cook this would be about 10 minutes. We don't have quite
No,
that
we
amount
don't.
of time, but everybody has seen the ingredients go in there. I make no measurements. I mean, I just go
Just-
by
just-
feel.
just by feel.
You have to put your heart in it,
That's
you know?
right.
And this is the last thing. Now, wait a minute. A little Italian bread for your highness. Right there you go. Actually, I knew that that
This is the
sauce-
finished dish?
This is the finished sauce over here. It looks about the
Okay.
same as that.
That's
but
pre-cooked, the same way you did the
I
same
wanted
way.
you to be able to have some.
All right.
And I hope this spaghetti has had time to cook. So, and wouldn't you know, I don't have my thing to pick it up with. Oh, yeah, I do too. Here we are. Yeah. So it means we have to take it out of the water here. And we can't afford to sink at NBC, so I pour it back in this other pot here. There we go.
You're the disease, I'm the cure.
If this isn't good, I'll put in with you.
All righty. Need a
Okay.
plate?
Yeah. Okay, now, let's see. Okay, I have to take a little bit of it out on there.
All right. I get to sample this?
Of course.
All right.
That's enough to start with there. That'll get you going. You'll want
Can I take
more.
some of this sauce?
Put some of that sauce on there.
All right.
There you go. There's one thing oh, that's enough. Don't put any more.
What?
Because I said not to.
Oh, all right.
No, you...
Well, I only asked.
Well, you should never drown your spaghetti or your pasta in sauce. Don't
see.
drown it. Just
right.
enhance it.
I'm going to take just a little bit of this.
Okay. Well,
Needs more wine. I'll tell you what. I'm not.
here you are.
Let me get somebody. I want somebody from the. Just have somebody from the audience come up here and sample. Find somebody who knows them. A gentleman, maybe. What's your name?
Kathy.
Kathy. Just take a little bite of that.
Wait a minute. I'm making some special for Kathy.
Here, let me take it.
All right, that's enough now. Don't overdo it. Yeah.
We got
This gentleman here. Would you give me a clean
You know,
fork
I
here?
forgot
got
to
the fork?
put the grated cheese out here.
Yeah, that's what's missing.
Jack Grant forgot the grated
just
cheese.
1 second. I want to get an opinion. I want this gentleman's opinion.
That's the best spaghetti in Burbank.
Really like it?
I really like it.
Your name is?
I'm Merrill Schindler.
And you?
I'm the restaurant critic for the Herald Examiner.
Merrill?
I can rarely get that on my tie.
Good. Thank you, Merrill. It's Merrill Schindler.
believe you.
That's true. Thanks, Merrill.
Put a ringer in.
Oh, no. Thank you, guys. We'll be right back. Okay, now we just have a couple of minutes here. We only have about a minute and a half, and Joan Emery from the San Diego Zoo realizes that. She represents 165 public zoos in America, and this happens to be National Zoo and Aquarium Month, which are all supported by the public. Would you welcome Miss Joan Emery?
They fell asleep back
Look
there.
at these two.
Josie,
Now, these are orangutans.
these are orangs, and they're one of the animals that zoos will help to save because they're highly endangered.
Look at
and
that.
they're only about a year and a half old. The male will weigh 300 pounds, female about 100, and there are only maybe 4,000 left in the wild. So
Were these born at the zoo?
they were born at the San Diego Zoo, and we will have as many in captivity in the near future as exist in the wild.
Look at the
because
way
of
they're
their-
hanging on to each other.
Yes, they fell asleep. It was a riot.
Can I turn them around?
Louis was sitting with his mouth wide open, gaping.
There's another one back
And-
around here. You can't see.
You can't see it.
How do I?
You're okay. You can just switch
Well,
them.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
All hair. Takes them about 8 years to reach their full maturity, so they have a lot of growing to do.
How old are... Can I...
Yeah, a year and a year and a half. You're okay. Look, the banana's over here.
Banana?
Look, here. Sit here.
Oh.
Their arms are longer than their legs, and when they stand up, they can touch the ground with their arms
Yeah.
because they live in the trees.
Are they holding on to each other for security? Is that it? Are
Yeah.
they...
Yeah, they're good buddies. They were raised together in the nursery. There. And they use their lips. They use their lips like a platter, which is a riot because...
You ought to see this one looking at me here. One is shy. Turned around at the last minute. Anyway, we had some other babies from the zoo, and we'll show them next time.
Okay.
I thank you for coming. But this is National Zoo and Aquarium Month,
That's right. Want everybody to come out and visit their zoo.
Yeah, thank you for being here. This is adorable. Danny, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rufus People is open around...
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow opens
Rufus
around the
People.
country. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm humbled by that applause.